Hey guys, welcome back to the Space Agency. I'm Wandering Kid. I just created this contraption to go send up the KS25x4 engine cluster. It's different. I decided I wasn't going to play games with staging. I'm going to bring that up there legit. I've got tons of parachutes on this thing to try and bring it back down. I'm using a bunch of KD25Ks to basically make most of the lift. The final stage is a pair of T800s on top of LV909s. And once we get up there, we'll stage and then deorbit. Target orbit is 78.4 to 79.7. That's a pretty tight orbit. But you don't have to have the entire orbit in there. You just have to be passing through there while in orbit. So just something to keep in mind. I figured I'd bring you along and let you watch me see what happens with this thing. Alright, so the KS25x4 orbital test rig is saved off, so I can drop you the craft file in case this thing looks like something you'd like to play with. And off we go. And hey, for fun, I have lights. I apparently should have used struts. I'm pretty sure we're not going to make orbit. I've wasted a lot of delta V without enough thrust to weight. So this was a failed launch. I didn't have enough thrust to weight on launch. So because I didn't get enough speed out of the craft, I was unable to break atmo or get up into thinner atmo before I had to switch over to my LV909s, which just don't have the thrust to weight we need. Alright, so we'll kill that. We'll stop wandering away from KSP any more than we have to. We'll just kill our horizontal so we fall straight down. Alright, we're coming in and getting a bit low, so I'm going to stop burning. Get our 1,000 parachutes going there. Yeah, you can kind of see the look a bit in the glow of the universe there. And we'll just bring this down for a landing. Not bad, 6.7 meters per second fall speed. Looks like something fell off. Yeah, it looks like the tanks bit it when we landed, but we saved the main components. We recovered 38K from that, 93.5%, so not horrible. Alright, so with that failure, we learned a couple of things. First off, I forgot to slap a carrier unit on this. Usually consider those helpful. Next, more booster. Alright, let's try this again. Whoops, I'm a little too heavy. Well, rats. Strip everything off. So here's what I was thinking I was going to do. Was run a fuel line from a jumbo tank and just land the engine. The problem is my core is going to be on the detached portion of the engine. Well, bah humbug on you too. Alright, so we land that. It's got 3,900 delta V with enough thrust to lift off half the planet. Really don't need much else. Let's put on something to stick things off the side. I don't need that many. Alright, that should get me to space. One hopes. Got myself a little high there. Well, everything seems good. Alright, so now to pull this stunt off, what you do is you set up a new staging group. You stick something in it. Now, as long as I've got everything right, I'm tested. 433k for that. Alright, so we need to land at some point. Oh, I can warp right to my node. How's that? I like these new little buttons that are on Kerbal Alarm Clock. Now, one of the things I did notice in Harvester's announcement on Tuesday was they're going to put in some kind of version of Kerbal Alarm Clock. They mentioned that they're going to be able to put in warp stop points and stuff like that. So I'm curious to see what he's going to do with it. Alright, let's get a little closer to our node. So as I said, yeah, we'll be just passing over KSC. I actually am not going to want to come in quite that low. Push that out a bit. There, more. Alright. This thing has so much thrust. Close enough. Alright, let's see how this looks. Whoops! Looks like I should have came in a little lower. Hey! And we're home. Uncovered 48k, 92.1%, not bad. Runs at 1.12 mil. Sweet. Let's see. While I'm at this, why don't we upgrade the spaceplane hangar? For more parts. The next upgrade for spaceplane and VAB will cost me 2.6 mil to get all my action groups and maximum supported parts. Not too shabby, though. So with the completion of testing that large engine and a couple other things we did, we're got plenty of science again. I'm going to snag the claw. I think I want rover parts. And we'll just open up that entire section. So the KR2L is the high ISP heavy thrust engine. It's basically a oversized mainsail with better vacuum ISP. Guess I could launch this the same way I did the other one. So yeah, not so grindy after you get up there. That's kind of nice. So a couple of missions like this and I'll be set to go. Good science, nice rep. Yeah, I'll take that one. Actually, I think I'll just... Whoops. I need to change the root part. Root, not you. I'll make the tank the root. Excuse me. So this one costs $28.50. So you there. Even more Delta V. KR2L orbital test rig. Alright. Well, is it daylight out yet? I'm getting tired of launching things in the dark, and I'm sure you guys are too. There. Alright, let's try that again. Okay, so I'm in the right place. Now we just restage the engine. We're done. And we'll bring it around for a landing. Not bad. 27 meters from KSC. Ooh! I can even take a bit of a fall. Not bad. Recovered 40 grand from that. We're up to 1.2 mil. And I've got enough science for our next piece. I'm going to go pick up advanced aerodynamics and get all my Mark II parts. That should be the Mark III parts. I'll get there eventually. So I can't seem to open up any more 2 or 3 star contracts at the moment. So it looks like I'm going to have to do some of these. So it looks like I maxed off at 11. It looks like 15 total would be your maximum. None of these look overly interesting. The KR 1x2. So, yeah, well, it's worth 130 grand. Might not be that bad. Liquid fuel booster KR 1x2 in flight, huh? Let's say we go try and build a plane to do this. I think it'll be interesting. That, and I've got time to kill. Okay, so the liquid fuel booster is this. Big, heavy monstrosity. Weighs in at 42 tons by its little lonesome. We empty out the juice. I got to put on all stages to see weight. It's a 10-ton engine all by its little lonesome. So I need at least 10 units of lift to put this up. Now, I do have many more parts and a lot more mass to play with than here. So let's figure out what we're going to do. Now, this does act like an SRB. This isn't an ignitable engine that you can take down, take on, things like that. So I'm going to leave it empty of fuel and thrust, and we're just going to lift this puppy up. The height I've got to get to with this is 23.6 to 31.7, and with a decent speed at that height, so that's okay. All right, let's get this thing rattled together, shall we? I don't think we need to risk a Kerbal for this, do we? And what Kerbals do we have kicking around? Anybody need some XP? I guess could go test pilot for me. Yeah, all right. So let's strap on. Oh, let's see. What are we going to do with this? I guess he needs a place to sit. My God, is this thing really that big? Goodness gracious. I don't know how I'm going to get wheels on this thing. I suppose the external command seat might be overkill. Okay, get out of my... Stop it. Hey, look, he's got a cockpit. All right. Actually, you know what? I think I can leave some liquid fuel in here for the engines. That should be more than enough. I think that'll work. We'll find out. All right, you need wings. Let's start with basics. Bunch of type Bs. That's more than enough lift. We need to get engines and intakes on this. $16 tons. I've got 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 16 units of lift. I'm good there. You need to go into your own thing so I can stage you later. Right. Now this poor thing needs to take off. The heck am I going to stick the landing gear? Let's see. Oh, wait. I want to put the landing gear in there? Let's put the landing gear in there. so I don't have to go play hide and seek for it all the time. Add part to custom category, select your custom category, stick it in there. I'm gonna tail strike. That's a tail strike waiting to happen. This is one I wish they started making larger landing gear already. I could leave it nose down on the runway. What's mass and lift look like? I don't need to move the wings and stuff a little forward, but I'll deal with that here shortly. Put a pair of canards on the front. That should give me a little more authority. I don't think I have canards yet. I don't, but I can make my own. I'm going to figure out how to attach this landing gear, and I think I'm going to have to do it the obvious way. Right, let's move things around. Excuse me. Let's offset this stuff this way. A little more height. Nope. Stick him a little more forward. Yeah, this is going to be a dangerous ship to fly. All right, offset. Okay. I have no idea how well this is going to fly. Crew? In you go, I guess. Good luck. I think we'll just name that appropriately the Albatross now. Okay, it sits properly. Bring throttle to full. I didn't put Kerr on it, not my best plan. So we are pulling fuel out of that. Good. It seems relatively stable. Did I say stable? Did I say a word about stable? Oh dear. Not good. What happened? First thing that went down was a structural failure on linkage between structural fuselage and wing connector type B. Then the circular intake. So one of my structural fuselages suicided. Alright. Back to spaceplane hangar. Oh yeah, and goodbye, I guess. No. Let's do this a little differently. Excuse me. Till I know this thing can fly. Good. Alright, now. One of these two fuselages died and disconnected. There was something I had wanted to do, which was this, which I didn't think to remember to do before. Just connect the landing gear up. I'm also going to connect the fuselage over, just to see if we can hold it together. And we're going to hook our wings together. There, that should keep that a bit less floppy. No Kerbals. Things seem a bit more stable. I can't quite get her to lift off, though. Not enough pitch authority. Something was in air. Hey, one of my wings are just flying for it. Oh, I wonder if this is the wing that won't move bug. There's a bug out there where the wing glitches and it just doesn't want to move on liftoff. And I wonder if that's what's tearing the plane apart. I gotta go find out more about how to get rid of that. I'll bring you guys back once I figure this one out. Okay, unfortunately, the only notes I found on this, and I don't find anything on the official threads, is to basically rip off all your wings and do it again. Now, notice that gap in my wings? I'm wondering if that has something to do with it. Okay, now the other problem that we definitely saw was it looks like I don't have enough, what do you call it? Pitch authority. I want... Oh, it's right the first time. Alright, now I know I probably just put mass and lift at a balance. Actually, they're pretty good. Alright, let's try this one more time. Let's see if that gapping of the wings was part of the problem here. Let's make sure nobody climbed into the cockpit while I wasn't looking. Here. This thing should have plenty of lift. It should go up at 50 to 60. Come on. What the heck happened? It looked like one half of the plane tried to lift off and the other half of the plane just wouldn't go anywhere. I gotta look at that replay. Oh, yeah. Cover that. Alright, so I'm in my playground. Playground is a wide open game. I've copied the Albatross 3 into my playground, and I want to see what the hell happens. I've also rebooted Kerbal Space Program in between the last launch in my hard career and now. SAS on. Go. Get out of there, Bill. Okay, my front wheel is going up, and I can fly. I think we just lost Bill. See you, Bill. Let's do this launch again. Not RCS. SAS. So if you notice, my front wheel is off the ground. We can rotate that part. Nothing else is dragging. I'm still holding down S. Something is locking. Let's load something else up. The Ares 4A. Piece of crap, but it takes off. Really? They don't have staging set up on this stupid thing? Now, when I'm lifting up here, holding down S, my wheel's not just hanging around off the ground. It either lifts off, or it doesn't. Holding down S. See, when my wheel goes up, I lift off. Now with my pitch authority, once my front wheel is up, I should take off. I should not lock into this position. This makes no sense. I'm relatively sure it's this wing. That's the problem. Great, now I can't move the camera? There we go. Oh, now my camera's stuck. Well, I just pulled up on the joystick. What is going on with my system? I can't move the camera. Chase camera is all sorts of confused. Photo camera, free camera. I got a whole lot of nothing going on here. Alright, let's do a system reboot. Maybe that's the problem. Alright, complete reboot on the system. Let's try this again. KSP is currently eating 48% of my CPU sitting in the launch bay. Seriously, I didn't even know you were multi-threaded. This is a 4-core. Hey, look, my camera works again. Okay, the wheel's locking still. There it goes again. What does it... Alright, let's rip all the damn wings off. Alright. Let's try this again. Although looking at this, I'm wondering if for some reason this girder is locking this wing up. But I do need to put ailerons on this thing. Notice I'm not building my own canards again. Like hearing explosions from your last launch. That's not ominous, no. Alright. I'm locking again. Whoops, tail struck it. Hey, I finally got rid of the lock. Okay, I can live with that. Yep. I did get liftoff this time. I didn't just crash on the runway. Some of those wings were locked up. Oh, well, hopefully I can create a bug report for somebody. Okay, while attempting to figure out what was going on with this craft, the Albatross 3 here locks up while attempting takeoff. Let me show you. Now, the reason I thought this was the Tier 2 runway was because the Tier 2 runway has small bumps in it, which were exacerbating the problem. Well, you notice here I'm attempting to lift off, and my front wheel locks just a little bit off the ground. I can't quite take off. But you can see its shadow, and you can see a very small gap underneath it. Eventually, it does lift off at 119, 120 meters per second. Now, I know what many of you are going to say, and that it's a center of mass to the rear landing gear concern. Let me show you. Landing gear, center of mass. Just to confirm it, put it practically underneath center of mass. So, now, as I attempt to lift off, my front wheel actually isn't leaving the ground this time. I'm locking into position here instead. I can get it off the ground a bit if I bounce it. But we're coming up with the same problem. You can just barely see a very small gap there. Until we get to speed. Now, let me load up what I figured out was finally the problem. This is the exact same ship, same craft parts file, everything else. You notice I'm still clipping the wings here. Center of mass is the same. But I've pulled down these modular girder segments down away from center of mass. And I also adjusted this front gear base so that it didn't have as much problems. Now we're just going to shift these back a hair. And launch. Now you'll notice I'm not getting that front wheel lift in any way until I'm actually rotating the plane completely. And I lift off at about 70 meters per second. Quite fine. So there's something odd that's happening with the modular girder segment in the Albatross 3. The clipping that I did via Gizmo is causing some very weird issues. So that's what I was trying to explain, and hopefully I can create some kind of intelligent bug report for Squad about this one. So hopefully this helped explain what I was talking about. Maybe you guys see something I don't. Now we know what the problem here is. I don't have enough distance from my rear wheels. What I meant to move. Now center of mass, center of lift, please. Okay, we can move these back a bit too. All right. Come on. See, at least my wheel is stuck to the ground now. Not enough pitch authority. I can't get this wheel up. Alright, now she's going to brake. Actually, we may be able to just go off the end of the runway. There we go. Alright, that works for me. Oh, something was wrong with those wings. Cost me a small fortune, but whatever. Alright, I gotta get up to 23.6. We're approaching altitude, but I'm gonna start blowing past speed here, so I'm lowering my engine throttle down significantly. Okay, we are at correct altitude. We have staged the LFB. Time to see if I can land this puppy. Well, we lost a small fortune doing that run, but I was able to get it home. Alright, time to go create a bug report movie and put something up into the forums. Well, since I seem to be on a theme for this episode, we'll do one last test. This will be a Rapier engine test. I need to get into a suborbital trajectory between 79.3 and 89.7 when I ignite this thing. So we'll grab that. Slap a hex out there. So, if you're not familiar with the Rapier, this is a dual usage engine. It uses both air breathing and liquid fuel, which you can switch back and forth between. So what we're going to do is we're going to take advantage of this hybrid nature. Here's my 800. You. Actually, there's a couple of things I want to get on here. Next step up, we're going to radially attach a couple of things. Let's get some regular old fuel tanks in there. One liquid fuel, that'll work. I'm going to use Rapiers in both cases here. And we're also going to try and recover this entire craft. Now, when you were dealing with Rapiers, one of the things you want to take a look at is this automatic switching. You don't want that. You want to be on manual switching. And remember, I have some curious action groups now. So I'm going to use the lights for a switch mode. Now, if I'm correct, every time I turn on and off the lights, they should toggle back and forth. We'll see if my plan's going to work. Now, I want them to start in air breathing. Good. We'll need some intakes for them. Now, by rights, what I should do is put 3 intakes on, put an engine on, put 3 intakes on, put an engine on. Screw that. I want to offset these up a hair. In a bit. There we go. Yeah, that looks about level. I'm not sure how this is going to perform, but we're going to find out. Mode air breathing, turn on the lights. I go to closed cycle. I turn them off. I go back to air breathing. Perfect. Well, that's not good. Apparently, I don't have the thrust to lift this thing. They're building thrust. QWR is good. There we go. We're just going to do a straight-up launch for our suborbital. Those Rapiers are loud. I may have made a mistake here. Okay, we are pulling correctly. Whoop, we have a flame out. I've killed the engine. Let's switch them over. Whoops. Trying to get this craft back under control. Come on. Come on, all the way over. Go, come on, back. What I care about is this apoapsis height. I want to make sure I'm at 79.3 or higher. So I'm going to aim for, 86 should be fine. Alright, we're not dropping very much. Let's put that out of the way for a moment. Just stop floating it. Set you guys up for a new stage. Now we just wait until we're at the right height. Okay, we are at right height. Engine stage, test complete. And now we fall back down. Now one of the things I'm going to do is I put the engines back into air breathing mode. I'm going to try and use them to help me land a little bit softer. So we're coming back down, and other than our little burnout scenario, we're pretty close to the KSC on our up-down jump. A little bit of air friction probably slowed us down so that the KSC got ahead of us as well. We'll pop the chutes here shortly. I don't even need the engines. I'm coming down at 5.1 meters per second. So we'll keep those engines off. And a nice, gentle touchdown. There we go. And with the near full recovery at 97.5, we got our 22K back. Our funds are at 1.74 mil. There was an upgrade I could do for that price, which was the tracking station, which would let me start looking for asteroids. I'm a little short on that by about 5K, 10K. But I also don't want to completely bankrupt myself. So, with a series of parts being tested in the background, some were more interesting than others. Hopefully you guys were interested about me trying to do that bug testing run. If you just wanted me to shorthand that, sorry about that. But I spent a lot of time doing that, so that ate up a lot of my time for doing this episode. Other than that, you get an idea how you can do some parts testing. They can be expensive to set up, but you should be able to recover the majority of it, and they're worth it. So that's going to end it for this episode of the Space Agency. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.